All right, 25 minutes before 8 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in to WOCA this Monday morning. Real quick look at the weather right now here at the studios. It is, let's see if it's crossed the 70 mark, 70-degree mark. No, it's still 69 degrees. And the forecast is calling for temperatures to climb into the lower 90s today. So only a 20% chance of rain. Not too bad for the second day of November. As the rest of the country is preparing to get cold, we say a little cool weather here and there. We wouldn't say anything bad about that. What else did I want to make sure I told you? I guess that was it. I don't think there are any ribbon cuttings. I don't see any here. So I want to tell you this, that in an hour from now, we'll be speaking to Dr. Ben Carson. We've been trying to get the word out about that. He is going to be on the air here with us, but he's also going to be in the Villages at 4:30. And when Robin gets back in here, maybe she's got the details about where in the Villages. I don't think I have that information here, do I? Oh, yes, I do. He's going to be at the Barnes & Noble on Old Camp Road. The address is 1055 Old Camp Road.
It's on your.
I have it right here.
It's on your guest list.
I'm reading it.
Okay. Okay.
He's going to be at the Barnes & Noble at Old Camp Road this afternoon at 4:30. And if you missed that or you're working, 4:30, probably most of you will be, and you want to see him, he'll be in Orlando at a Books A Million at 2605 West Osceola Parkway.
And that's in Kissimmee, I found out. It's not Orlando, it's Kissimmee.
Oh, okay.
And Old Camp Road, the address is 1055 Old Camp Road in the Villages.
Got it.
Yes.
All right, so I want to tell you a little bit about his book. He had a book called One Nation. It spent 20 weeks on the New York Times bestseller list, 5 of which were at the #1 spot. And when that book did that well, that's when people started saying, you should run for the presidency. You should be the president. And everybody was saying that to him, and we caught wind of it. I didn't even know who he was. And so we went online, and we got some quotes from his, and I either read them. I think I read them. I don't think I put, maybe I didn't put them on sound bites, but anyway, he's got a new book, and that's why he's making this tour during his presidential campaign. I guess it's a presidential campaign, or it's a presidential, what do you call it at this point in the whole thing? The primary campaign, whatever it is. He wants to be president. Anyway, a lot of people wanted him to be president, so in my mind, he's one of the few people, if not the only person, he's the only one I can think of, that has actually been nominated in the true sense of the word nominated, where other people said, you know what, you'd be a good president. I mean, normally, people who run for the presidency have said, you know, I'd like you to consider me, so let me go to a debate and let me say some things and write some books and see if you agree that I should be the president. And so they become nominated, quote unquote, after they've already established their desire to be the president. Mm-hmm. In his case, that didn't happen. He simply wrote a book about this country. So now he's got another book. This new book is called, what is the new book called? The new
A More Perfect Union. A
More Perfect Union. Okay. And in this one, he's got some things he talks about. What we, the people, can do to reclaim our constitutional liberties. He shows in the book why the Constitution is not brain surgery. It's a nice thing to have somebody who's a brain surgeon say. It is accessible to every citizen. He offers clarity in such controversial subjects as same-sex marriage, the right to bear arms, executive orders, taxation, and freedom of religion. And so I doubt in 10 minutes, unless he decides he wants to stay with us longer, I doubt that we'll be able to get everything answered. And, you know, he's probably doing a lot of these. There's probably other stations right now that are gearing up for him to be on their station as well. But anyway, we're looking forward to him being on this one. He turned his focus to the Constitution for the new book. He believes America is facing a constitutional crisis because too many of our politicians and judges ignore the common sense in the founding documents. The Founding Fathers did not want a permanent governing or ruling class of professional politicians. They wanted a republic, in Lincoln's words, of the people, by the people, and for the people. A country where any farmer, small business owner, manual laborer, or doctor could speak up and make a difference, and the Constitution provided a simple, concise roadmap to make that dream a reality. That last sentence is a quote from him. So one of the things that has come up a lot on the radio show is people who will contest different things in the Constitution. For example, separation of church and state. It's not in there. There is no separation of church and state mentioned in there. It just says Congress shall establish no religion. It does the separation part, and you all know the story. And this is the thing I want to point out to him, is that the audience he is talking to when he goes on talk radio stations is the audience that already agrees with him, but it's important for him to get on these stations because of the few who may have never heard of him. And we met some people yesterday who didn't even know who he was.
No.
They thought we were talking about Dr. Ben Casey, a TV character.
Yeah, exactly.
And I found that a little bit troubling. You know, these were folks at an assisted living facility, and they were not in any mental decline. This was a high-functioning assisted living facility group.
Yeah, very, very expensive facility.
Expensive, yeah, but it's, the point I'm trying to make is they were smart, but they for some reason just didn't pay attention enough to know who Ben Carson is. He says that regarding the right to bear arms, that this right, this is what he wrote in the book, this right can in no way be violated, and any attempt to erode it should be vigorously resisted. Those who insist that tyranny could never come to America should read about how it came to so many other places that also felt safe. That's a quote from his book.
That's pretty awesome.
A More Perfect Union. Regarding executive orders, now this is not an attack on President Obama, because there have been many presidents who have used executive orders, but here's what he says about them. He says Article 2 of the Constitution specifically states that the president shall take care that the laws be faithfully executed. Simple. It does not say that the laws with which he agrees be faithfully executed. Big difference. The executive branch cannot pick and choose.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Good for him.
He says the founders gave Congress a great deal of latitude when it came to taxes. Unfortunately, this is a quote from his book, unfortunately, this vagueness has been abused by our government in a way that would horrify the founders. Yes, so sure it would. Regarding same-sex marriage, he says, the framers of our Constitution intended that these kinds of issues be handled by the states. Judges should not be able to overturn the decisions made by the citizens of each state. I wonder if you would feel the same way about abortion and about immigration, illegal immigration. Freedom of religion, he writes in this book, some claim that the sight of a Bible or a cross causes them so much psychological distress that it impinges upon their freedom. It is important that we learn to be reasonable and tolerant of everyone's beliefs without going to such extremes that we compromise everyone's rights. And there's big debates about that. I mean, the whole idea of if you can have the nativity scene on the town square, which is public property, then you should also have everybody else's religious symbolism. That's an ongoing argument every holiday season. I guess we're about to see it now that we're into November. For those who don't know who Ben Carson is, for those few, I truly believe that a listening audience of talk radio knows who he is, and they've got it, but just in case there's a few of you. Dr. Carson retired as the director of pediatric neurosurgery from Johns Hopkins Hospital after a groundbreaking medical career of more than 35 years. He is the author of 8 previous books, including One Nation, One Vote, America the Beautiful, and Gifted Hands.
He's amazing.
He's a former member of the President's Council on Bioethics. He is a recipient of the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian honor in the country. Dr. Carson and his wife and co-author Candy Carson are the founders of the Carson Scholars Fund, which recognizes the achievements of deserving young people. Anyway, he'll be on this show in about 45 minutes. He will be down in the Villages at 4:30 this afternoon.
Yep.
He'll be down in Kissimmee at 8 o'clock this evening, and we'll tell you the details again. We'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. On this Monday, it'll be partly sunny, very warm and humid with a high of 86 to 90. Partly to mostly cloudy Monday nights with some fog around late, low 70 to 74. For Tuesday, some morning fog, otherwise times of clouds and sun, very warm and humid with a shower or thunderstorm in spots, the high 86 to 90. For Wednesday, partly sunny and warm, high 84 to 88. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
WWOCA, If you want to avoid getting ripped off and put more money in your pocket, then join me, Clark Howard, every weeknight at 6, right here on WOCA, The Source.
The connection between soil and just about every product we use every day. That's coming up on This Land of Ours.
Step right up and gaze upon this miraculous substance I hold in the palm of my hands. This little miracle can feed us, clothe us, give us clean, fresh water, and provide wildlife habitat for nature's critters. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the greatest soil on earth.
Learn more about soil health principles that can turn your soil into a star performer. Contact your local USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service office today to find out how. This message brought to you by USDA and this radio station.
Looking for ways to reduce your home's energy use? With new technology, hot water production can be more efficient than ever before. Propane tankless water heaters heat water instantly, whenever it's needed, eliminating wasted energy. And propane is clean burning and efficient, which is better for the environment. Learn more about energy-saving tankless water heaters at propanefl.com. Propane gas. Exceptional living from the exceptional energy. A message from the Florida Propane Gas Safety, Education, and Research Council.
It's considered the most abundant ecosystem on Earth, soil. But have you stopped to consider just how big of a part it plays in our everyday lives?
I was just able to buy a couple of bags of topsoil.
Dave Hoover of USDA's Natural Resources Conservation Service provides this obvious example of soil as product. But he continues there are indirect connections between soils and products as well, such as the food we eat, the fiber we wear, the wood we build and use for fuel, and even products made from natural resources of the soil.
Sheet metal.
Now, no, we don't go out on the farm and harvest sheets of metal. However,
we do have factories. Strong foundation. They need to have a road system so that they can transport their product to the factory and the finished product out. They need a good transportation system which rests on the soil. And then